Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So today we have a lovely guest with us. This is Chris, or Christopher on the Soulcycle schedule. And we brought the Soulcycle Spotlight series back. I know it's been a minute, I'm sorry, you guys are like, do more of those. So I was like, I'm gonna do a newer instructor, get his face out there, and I love him, so it's just gonna be really fun. This is Chris, he goes by Christopher on the schedule, Chris Scruggs, all that good stuff. I'll put all his social media below so you can go follow him. It's a good time. He was in group 30, yeah. So I was in 27, so he just graduated like what, 4, 5? How many months ago? 3?
I finished in October, end of October.
Okay, so he was in like a wave or two after me that came back to DC. He's new, he's absolutely crushing it. I haven't taken his class yet, I'm the worst, I'm the savage. It's like really hard to do this spotlight when I'm like, I haven't taken this class. But I've heard the best things about it, and I just vibe with him. So like, we're just gonna get into it, okay?
Let's do it.
Okay.
So I'm Chris, or Christopher. I'm 27, originally from Annapolis, Maryland, but moved away. I had a little journey, but we'll talk about that later. And I was in group 30, and so I moved back here in October, end of October, and I started teaching in basically beginning of November, and here we are. Here we are.
It's March, so yeah, do the math. So we're just gonna get into the nitty gritty. So number one, how did you find Soulcycle?
I'm brutally honest.
Yeah,
you
can look at me over the camera, by the way. It doesn't really matter.
Oh, whatever. So I was a professional dancer for 12 years, and when I was back here from a tour layoff, we came back and I was here for a week visiting my family. And I had a friend who was like, you should come try this instructor at Soulcycle class. He's really cute. And I was like, okay, sure, like whatever, let's try it. And I remember I went and I actually, my first class, it wasn't the instructor, I just didn't like it at first. I think it was a coordination thing, and then I was like, but I'm determined as hell, and I was like, we're gonna do this. And I came back and I was like trying, and I eventually got the hang of it. There we go. But I remember the first time I took it, probably like a lot of people feel a little bit uneasy at first, a little bit awkward, but like you just kind of lean into it and like put your nose to the grindstone, and I made it work.
So number 2, when did you decide you wanted to be an instructor? And kind of like why?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
So how long ago was that, by the way?
That was in 2014 or 2015.
God, that was a long time. So like, were you a regular rider, or was it just kind of when you were like not on tour?
Basically when I wasn't on tour, or when I was back home in this area, because where I was living in Calgary, Canada at that time, and we didn't have Soulcycle there.
Right.
It maybe was opening in Toronto or Vancouver. We had like knockoffs of whatever other indoor cycling studios. Right. So whenever I was home, I would ride with whoever I would usually ride with, and then yeah, that was a while ago. That was like.
But you eventually became an instructor up there at like another place. Right?
Yeah. So when I left DC, and I was like, I got hooked on it. I was so hooked on this whole soul thing. It was like invigorating. I loved it, and then I was like just hungry and thirsty for more of it. So I was living in Calgary, dancing there professionally. And I got my permanent residency, and as soon as I did, I was like, I have to find some place where I can teach. I think the weird thing or cool thing about being a dancer is like, you still get to like use your body and tell a story, but you can't use your words.
Right.
And you can't like, I mean, some more contemporary ballets are using music with words in it, but it's mainly like all classical music, or like some electronic stuff. So I found this weird outlet of being able to use my words and like music with words to tell a story and get into people's like minds and bodies and souls, and I loved it. So then I started teaching at a studio in Calgary called Soulcycle, and I was hooked. I just wanted more and more, and then eventually I did my first audition.
So you knew like when you were teaching up there that it was ultimately going to get you to soul?
Brutally, honestly, yes. I mean, if I'm being honest.
Sorry for watching this.
I mean, I have so much humility and so much appreciation for where I started as an instructor. They gave me my start. I gave me like my hunger, this like fuel, this fire, and I'll never forget that. But I knew in the back of my mind, Soulcycle was always the place, because it's just
it's the original, as Sunny said. You know.
There it is. You heard it here first.
Exactly. That's his famous line, by the way. So what's one of your favorite parts of class when you're teaching? I know it's really hard, but it can be like a moment, it can be, I don't know, favorite part.
I think it changes from class to class. I think what's so beautiful at Soulcycle is it lives and it breathes and it's not plastic. Like it's sometimes like that go home,
changing.
exactly, always changing. Like sometimes that go home is just like running for your life. And
Yeah.
it feels so good to like just run out of the saddle and like live your best life. And like who cares what it looks like? That's one thing I always say. Like there's not one rule at Soulcycle or words on the wall that says you have to look a certain way.
Yeah.
Like just show up and like however you are in your day. Like if you're running home at a saddle pace, who cares? If you're like living your best life, that's that. I love it. Sometimes it can be soulful. Sometimes it's I love to tell jokes during my arm series.
Yeah,
so
that's fun.
happens.
Arms are always fun. Okay, cool. So go home-ish.
Go home-ish.
Or it depends. Okay. As everyone says. What's a song that you can play over and over in your class and like never get sick of? I mean, I know there's so many, but like what comes to your head right away?
Gypsy.
Oh, okay.
Like, are you really in Soulcycle if you're not going home to Gypsy?
Yes, I know. That's so
We're going
true.
home to Gypsy today. Okay.
Oh, because you have a women crush.
Women Crush Wednesday.
It's a solid one. Okay, perfect. But who's one artist people will definitely hear in your class? Obviously, aside from her.
That's hard. I mean, like I love pop music. I love all kinds of music, but I mean, like the Queen Bee. I mean, like you're
Beyonce.
Probably always going to hear some of her at some point, obviously.
Right, not in every playlist, but somebody you will default to. Yeah.
Exactly. Or I'll sing it over the mic. It's fine. No, bad idea.
Beyonce. All right, what's your favorite move on the bike? Which I know is on the app.
Ooh, you know, I said jumps and runs out of the saddle, and I do like it because like you can like be really playful with the musicality. I love a good tap push.
I mean, who doesn't?
Okay, right? It just feels good to move.
It does. It's such a, and it's like a powerful move.
Yeah, 100%.
You go up for that push up.
And the whole room's doing it together. It's like,
Oh yeah, I know. We get off on like when it hits that beat, you're like, yes!
Wait for it!
So 3 words to describe your class.
Okay, wow, 3 words to describe my class. Energetic, real, or maybe not real. Energetic, tangible, and inspiring.
Ooh, I like those. I feel like some people have used energetic, but the other 2 no. I like that. What's the second one? You said tangible. Can you, I mean, I can understand what you mean, but like, what do you mean by that?
I think it's so interesting. Sometimes I feel like Soulcycle has this aura about it. People who haven't tried it before, that it's like, it's kind of, for lack of a better word, like it's fake, it's plastic, it's this like fitness, like Barbie, and it's like it's not real. People can't relate to that.
Right.
So tangible, it's like whatever you're working with or dealing with outside this room, like you're allowed to bring it in here. You're allowed to put it on the wheel. Like you're allowed to actually make real movements and real adjustments and changes in your life, and not just have this idea or inspiration of improving something. I always used to say this in my class, and I say intention demands action. And like you can't just want something.
Yeah.
You have to like sometimes be willing to do it.
Yeah.
Like touch the wheel, add the turn, take a bigger step.
Yeah.
Take a bite out of it.
Yes. Okay, good. I just wanted you to explain on that. What's your go-to thing to do on your day off?
Ooh. You know what? I don't have a go-to thing to make sleep.
I know, right?
I don't know. I just moved here recently, but like I never lived in the city, so I'm still kind of exploring and like walking around and finding.
And walking all the dogs.
Oh my God, yes, I walk dogs for WAG, and I talk about it in my class, and now people are like sliding into my DMs being like, so will you watch my dog? I'm watching this dog. This guy was like, it's my puppy. Choice word. Yeah. It's like a 95-pound purebred German Shepherd. I was like, it's not a puppy. It's huge. Yeah, I'm a big dog person.
But anyway, sorry. So you just are just what?
Exploring and whilst doing it with dogs.
Yes.
So there you go. Best of both worlds.
I love that. He'll put on his story like the dog's name, and he's just walking it. Like this is Bertha today.
Like, this is Bo. This is Candy. Like, oh God.
So what's one thing your riders may not know about you? It's such a hard question.
I don't know. Like I used to work in in ski patrol back in Canada, so I used to do like a lot of like trauma, like search and rescue kind of stuff. Yeah, so that was super fun. I was a professional ballet dancer for 12 years, but
I don't think everybody knows that.
Yeah,
most people know you were, but like I don't think everybody.
Not everybody. Yeah. True. So professional ballet dancer for 12 years. I danced in Boston Ballet, Louisville Ballet, and then I was in Canada's Alberta Ballet, and that's where I got back into skiing, living in Canada. So yeah, I used to work in like trauma, search and rescue, stuff up there. So it's fun.
No experience in that realm. I don't do outdoor sports. What inspires you most about this job?
Oh wow, it's loaded. That it's a two-way street. That you never know where someone's coming from in their day, or they know where we are in our day. And I think that's come back to that reality, like tangible aspect of it. Like it's such a give and take and a two-way street, and like I say this in my class sometimes, but it's like, I don't need you to be, it would be rude of me to expect you to be 100% every time you walk in this room.
Right.
That's not real.
Right.
But whatever you're walking in with today, that's what I need you to be and put on the wheel. It doesn't need to be everything. That's not real. Humans don't operate at 100% all the time.
Right.
So like, I think the idea, I mean, everybody wants to better themselves, and that's great, and I love that, but sometimes like there's really beauty and inspiration in like working through like the grit and working through like some of like the hard times. So just the reality of it, I think, is what inspires me.
I know. This is what's one misconception you think people have about Soulcycle?
That
you kind of already said like the whole thing about it being like plastic and fake.
Or like you
not
have
fake,
to be,
but
like untouchable or like not real. But I think it's, some people think you have to be a certain way to come in here, and that's the biggest load of bull crap. Like, I don't care how much you weigh, how old you are, gay, straight, green, brown, purple, orange, pink.
Right.
I don't care. Like, show up as you are. This space is for everybody.
Right.
And I think it's, if you like let yourself actually, I think. Someone told me this one time, and I was like, I don't know if I like vibed with it right away, but the more I thought about it, I was like, that's so true. Like, I think sometimes people are afraid to let themselves feel, like feel something.
You're triggering me back to the things that I was thinking about. Continue.
Like, don't be afraid to feel something. We're human beings. Like, we're plastic. Like, we're not plastic. We feel things. Like, you have emotion. It doesn't mean you need to be like crying or sobbing or like, but like, don't be afraid to feel like empowered, like aggressive, powerful. Anything. It's
not just like tap bags and things, you know. It might go back to whenever you talk again. So Jesus, this is what I told them last night. You're like sitting here like
come to Jesus moment. Let's go.
When I was like, I'm always telling my class to like open themselves, because I think a lot of people come in and they're always just like so closed off to it, just being a workout, just being here to sweat, or being here with their friends or whatever. And I'm always like, if you open yourself to being vulnerable and actually feeling in this room, and what you put on the wheel is something you feel, I was like, there will be so many questions answered that you never even realize.
I love that, because I think one of the hardest part is it's this weird like dichotomy that people don't want to be seen feeling something.
I know. Who cares? Like, literally, who cares?
We shouldn't be afraid to feel things. Like, that's what makes you human. But opening yourself up to, people are afraid to be vulnerable. Like, at the end of the day, like, it's actually the complete flip. Like, being vulnerable requires so much strength. Right. And like, there's so much strength in vulnerability. So like, I actually had an old boss who used to always tell me, he'd say like, to lead with vulnerability. Yeah. And I think it's like, because if you talk to people, or if you interact with them, or you teach a class, or you're just in the room and you show up openly and vulnerably, no one's gonna come at you and be like, or like chastise you for it. They're always the best classes when I'm feeling some type of way outside and I bring it in, and if I'm like honest with myself and I don't fake it and just try to get through the 45 minutes, it's when like I get that release and then we're more connected together. I remember during training they were talking a couple times about like, if you're not having a good day, like, you can lean into it. It doesn't need to be like this performance all the time, and you can be a human being. Cool about it. Yeah, exactly. And at first I was actually afraid to try to lean into this idea of like, maybe not performing, because that's like the dancer in me. Like, but last night I was super honest with my room, and I just told them exactly where I was, and it was like literally jumping into like a sea. They were just like totally there for you, and then just like bite back at it, and then it's tangible, it's real. If you actually open yourself up. And so sometimes in my class, like, I'll give this idea of something, and then I'll say like, I'll go first. I'll be vulnerable. And then I say something, and then I ask them, like, now it's your turn. Like, now it's your turn to ask yourself those questions, or whatever it is. I don't know. I love that. So in your opinion, what sets Soulcycle apart from, you know, other workout classes? It's an experience. It's an experience. It's not just a sweat, it's not just it's my least favorite thing to explain to anybody when they're like, so you just like ride a bike, like are you gonna like do like bike marathons after this? And then they're like, oh, like where are the stats? What do you, and I'm like, I say this, we at Soulcycle, I say in class, like, there's a reason why we don't have numbers on these bicycles. Right. Because we do things here based on feeling, how it feels on your body. And then people are like, no, how it feels, how does it feel? How does that feel with that much resistance on your wheel? Can you push through it? Yes or no? That's as athletic as it gets. Right. And I think, yes, I like that. Okay. Well, I mean, like, sometimes I'll tell people, is like, I think, sorry, dudes, but I think guys have a hard time almost getting over that. Like, so here it is. I will, like, and I remember Janet would say this during training, it's like, These are high-level athletes we're training. So like, this is going to be the most athletic thing you're gonna do today. So lay a big turn on that wheel and run up this hill. Like, run.
What a queen.
Like,
that's good, I'm gonna use that.
Yeah, like, it has to be like, I mean.
It's so true, and it's my favorite thing to bring my guy friends to Soulcycle, and they're like, damn,
yeah,
that was a lot harder than I thought.
Well, because I think some of these people too, like with these new bikes, like you can turn this wheel 957.6 times, and every turn you do feels the same, but you have to be like on the wheel itself, but not on your body.
Right.
But you have to actually be willing. I tell people, like, in order to feel change on this bike, you have to add big turns, and like also, it's a piece of plastic.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of it.
Yeah.
The bike doesn't ride you.
Damn straight. Heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
What's the best advice that you would give to a new rider? Really?
To give yourself credit for even walking out of the room your first time.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and that's not to scare anybody. It's just like, I was a professional dancer for 12 years. I always tell people this. The first like 5 to 10 times I rode, it's not that I didn't feel successful. I wasn't coordinated with the movement. I mean,
and
like,
you're a professional dancer. That's what you don't get. I was like, oh, I'm an athlete. I got it. And I walked out of here like, what the hell?
I felt like Bambi, and I was like, I mean, like, there's words on the wall.
Probably looked like it too.
It probably looked like it.
Your knees go in.
I was like,
just so everyone knows.
I mean, the walls literally say like we're unnaturally attached to our bikes.
Yeah.
These are not things you're like human beings or bicycles were designed to be doing. So like, give yourself credit.
Right.
Like,
it's so true. That's not wrong. If your riders take one thing away from your class, what do you want it to be? I know it changes on any given day.
Yeah,
like, overall,
it does change all the time. But a mantra that I kind of like live by, and it's kind of on the website. I feel like people have this idea that like being confident is being perfect, or that you have to be perfect in this room. And I always say that I don't need perfect. Actually, I got this kind of from
all the time too.
Yeah, my 5th grade teacher said this once.
R.I.P. to my old life.
Right? Okay, there it is. She said, Chris, you or anybody will never be perfect, but you can be excellent.
Oh,
and so,
I like that.
Right?
Yes.
And so now, like, one of my biggest mantras is excellence is an attitude, not an ability. Like, it's not a physical attribute to be excellent. It's an attitude, it's a mindset. So
I like that. That's good. Oh, that's good. I'm gonna steal that. Like, Kallie, write that down when you're editing this. Oh, I love this question. So name 2 people who have been super influential on your Soulcycle journey.
Oh.
So they can be like mentors, people you used to ride with, somebody in training, like 2 people who, and then just like a little brief why.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I'm so curious. This is my favorite thing.
Number
It'll
one,
take a minute,
like 100%, is no question of a doubt, Kathleen.
Crown emoji inserted right now.
Like 0 even questions of doubt. When I think of a class that's real and that's actually like, that puts I'm getting chills. That puts like the soul in Soulcycle. It's that is a full-blown journey, experience. It's real. It's not fake. It breathes, and it's creative, and she's just so inspiring. And like, I remember when this is so embarrassing. I remember when I would come back to DC like on break from tour, and the first thing I did was like, when can I go ride with Kathleen?
Yeah.
She's amazing. And then the other person on the flip side of it, a person who's actually now a Soulcycle instructor as well. She was in group 30 with me. She has been there actually my whole soul journey. Like, I auditioned 4 times to be a Soulcycle instructor.
Great.
Put your nose to the grindstone, do the work.
Yes.
But she's somebody who I told all of these aspirations to.
It's really important to find your people who you can, and that's why I'm so happy. I'm sorry I didn't interrupt you. That's why I'm so happy he's here, because there are people here who I look up to and who are my friends and who I love and who are my mentors. But it's another thing to have somebody who feels a little bit more equal. I hate to like say to like really just like lay all your shit out to, and that's why I'm like, oh my god, I'm so happy he's here. But anyway, sorry, who's your person?
No, I mean, I guess it's kind of like twofold. One of them, her name is Taryn. She was a dancer with me.
Wait, why don't I know that? She's She's a Soulcycle instructor?
No, sorry. This is part one, not part two.
Okay, sorry.
Part one is Taryn. She's one of my good friends. She was a dancer with me in Alberta Ballet, and she actually taught at the same studio that I used to teach at. And I confide in her in all of my aspirations, and she was there for me the whole time through, covering my butt, like when I was running away to an audition and came back. And the other person who was in group 30, who is now an instructor in Toronto, is Chelsea. She also taught at the same studio in Edmonton as me, and she's somebody who I confide everything to, and we confide just like, and I got her to do it, and we flew to San Francisco, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all a crazy experience, but powerful women, go women.
Go women, go us. Okay, so finish the sentence and we'll be done.
Okay.
I am fortunate for this job because. I know, it's like kind of hard.
No, it's hard because there's so many reasons why. Because I'm happy.
Yeah. Yes.
Like,
happiness over everything.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that happiness is a choice. Like, you know, I saw this somewhere and I was like, hell yeah, I'm into that. It said, you have no right to be upset for at the universe for the cards you've been dealt. But you have you have an obligation to play the shit out of the hand that you've been dealt. And I think happiness is a choice, and like, yes, you never know where anyone's coming from or what you're going through, but like, you can make a choice to be happy, and you can make a choice to like step up and out of something. But hey, like, I quit a career of 12 years to ride a bike, and that scared me so much. Like, I remember when I auditioned my 4th time, and the instructor in San Francisco said this, was Rachel Brooks, and she said, I remember I started like crying, like it's soulful. And she flat out said, she was like, I'm 30 years old and I have no idea what I want to do when I grow up. And I was like, preach. And then, you know what? The biggest thing I hate in the world is this idea of expectation, that you have to be a certain way or follow this path. College, get a boyfriend, get a dog, move in together. Scrap it. I hate that. It's garbage. Like, I would rather do things that make me happy than follow a norm or what's expected of me. I
don't think any person who's a Soulcycle instructor really has followed a norm.
No, I mean, like,
you know what I mean?
And
that was like literally what my life was going to be.
Yeah.
If I didn't quit my job. I mean, truly. It's literally what it's gonna be.
But I mean, there's so much freedom and like living off the beaten path. And like, do I have days that I'm like, okay, I need to be an adult and like be adult sometimes? But like, yes, but this job is so real, and it's so like, it's based on with people, and it's like literally like changing people's lives, and also through that, like changing yours.
It's special.
So it's very special. It's great.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so we're just gonna wrap it up here. That was fun. I like to get to know everybody too. It's like just so interesting. But he's about to teach a class in here, so we gotta get the hell out of the studio. But like I said, I'm gonna link his social media stuff below, so you guys can head over there, follow him, you know, show him a good time, whatever.
Do it.
I'm trying to think what else. If you are in DC, Maryland area, you teach at what studios?
I teach at Mount Vernon, 14th, Bethesda, and Georgetown. Yes,
he's at 4 studios, so that's the shit. So check him out. He's literally all over the map. He's fabulous. I will be hopping into this class. I thought about it today, and then I was like, I gotta put my playlist. So hopefully next week.
There you go.
But this is Christopher, and thanks so much for watching, guys. See you next time. Sorry, I like talk to the camera. Everyone gets a little weirded out, but it's fine. Okay, I'm gonna ask, may not include this, who was it? I was like so curious, like, who is this cute person? I don't know what the hell you just said, and I was like, oh my god, I want to say that, and then I forgot. I'll watch this back and like, damn it, that's what I want to say. Whatever, I'm cutting that out anyway. Like, oh my god, I can't fucking form sentences. I'm like acting like I'm being like live streamed right now. What did you just say?
Don't be afraid to like feel something.
Oh my god, so there will be bloopers. It'll just be losing my mind.